Right. So in the last session, we discussed about the business process flow as far as an application we have taken, which is called mobile POS. In that, we have taken a process because if you want to create any business process flow, there are different business process flows we have, something like billing, right? So at the same time, inventory position, stock management, etc. So in this regard, we have taken billing as an example. In this billing, when it comes to the application development, when we are working on, so we have created a process flow, and this is how generally the diagrammatical view looks like. Now, when it comes to the border view, right? So if you want to create any kind of borders and all that, so this is how generally we need to create an activity, right? So for example, login is where when the process starts, so we need to add the activity over here. So if you want to add an activity and all, here we need to select what are the different common activities do we have. Okay, because what are the different common activities do we have is what something which we have to be selected with. Or else you can give a new, we can provide a new activity over here, right? So create a new activity as in when you can see, just give me a second. Right, so this is a new activity which normally a new activity has to be given here, right? So that's what something new activity. For example, I'm creating a label called login, right? So login is what something user ID pass. Sorry, login is what something we have taken user credentials. Okay, I'm taking uh, right. So you can user credentials is what something which I have taken here for this application. Where in the table global, right? So access form. If you want to have any kind of updations to be made, etc. So we can add the descriptions over here, right? So all these things we can do. Automation plan. So wherein it is empty, right? So flow of action, it is empty, right? So simply you can click on submit where we need to create an action process plan over here. So whenever you are creating an process action plan, automation plan and all, we need to be updated this because earlier we need to create an automation plan prior to that. So then only this implementation can be done extensively. This is what something being into service now, we will be focusing more on that. So in this regard, so we need to add different automation activities. Activity experiences has to be added to the existing application. Whatever is required and whatever is needed is what something which we have to be performed with. Next, we need to select the document type because this is what generally the action type we have taken. Action type is what something we have taken. And if there is any kind of document of that sort, we can create a document over here. So this is where generally we need to action type null is what something we have taken, where we are clicking on, yeah, so where we are clicking on submit. So that when there is any kind of automation plan we have created, whatever the required fields you want to be performed, everything can be updated in this regard. Or else if there is any kind of user activity experience you want to be updated, so even activity experience can also be created in this regard. This is how generally, whenever we are creating any kind of activity, or is there any kind of new activities to be created for the existing application, what we have created, we can do that. Now, if you want to add any kind of stage before that, so here we can add a before stage where this new stage, I am just giving it as sign up. Okay, sign up is what something I have given, right? So sign up is a stage where login. So in this stage, what we do, uh, select barcode scanning. Okay, barcode scanning of products. Okay, this is what generally save and close, right? So this is where barcode scanning and product. So whatever the barcode scanning we do, whatever the barcode scanning we do, normally once the barcode scanning is done, so add new activity. So once the barcode scan will be there, total, calculate the total. calculate the total amount is what something we have taken and save and close. This is how generally a board view is what something which we have to create. Now, if you want to add any kind of activity, add activities and all, everything we can create. For example, these are the common activities. For example, you want to create a task, right? So what task can be created? For example, barcode scanning. So label, what is the label here? The product ID number has to be given. Because for every product, there will be an ID number. So hence product ID number is what something, right? So product ID is what generally the label I have taken. Okay. Product ID is a label I have taken. So at the same time, if you want to add any kind of configuring the activity, or if you want to configure the subflow for that, generally we can add it, right? So because creation of activity we have done. So for this creation of activity, is there any kind of sub activities which is to be created? We can do that. Next, once the product activity, next add activity, create a task, right? So this creation of task I can give you, for example, uh, barcode. Okay, creation of barcode, right? So barcode has to be there, right? So barcode has to be there here, right? So yeah, so barcode has to be there, right? So if you want to, so that when there is a barcode, automatically we can calculate that. Now, for example, in calculation of the amount, let's say, for example, you are going to create a one more task. We are creating a task where we are creating uh, taxes, right? So even tax amount, right? For example, if there are total list of products and all, even tax calculations can also be added. So once we have done here, you can see there is an option called activate. At the same time, we have an option called test. So test is what something which we have to be tested. For example, this is for a sign up process. Okay. For example, sign up process, right? So sign up credentials. So sign up credentials is what something which we can save it and close it here. Okay. Sign up credentials has to be given. For login and all, user ID password we have to provide. Okay. User ID and password can be created for this. This is how generally the billing process from the board view point of view, because this is a diagrammatical view. This is a board view. So when there is any kind of changes we have made in the board view, automatically you can see there is an amount of change which you can see over here. So this is how generally the diagrammatical view can be added. So for example, if there is a trigger where sign up credentials will be done. So once sign up is done, again, user ID, password, everything has to be given. Next, if you want to do the barcode scanner and all, product ID must be there. At the same time, barcode scanner is required. At the same time, barcode must be there on the product. Next, we need to calculate the amount, including the taxation, so that end of the day, end is nothing but final billing will be done here. This is how generally the process flows. Generally, this board use, right? So diagrammatical view. This is all something which is being a business analyst. Whenever we are working on the project using ServiceNow, this is what and how generally we have to create. And this is not only for BA, of course, even it is useful even for the developer roles and all, right? So because we never know what kind of requirements we come across. So even a developer is not only relating to the coding part, but if they understand the business process flow well in advance, so that it is easy for them to create any kind of logics and all everything for the requirements what they have taken. This is all about the session today. If you have any questions, please go ahead.